This is the... Yes, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It has happened. Everybody said that it was going to happen this week, and it has happened. Tottenham Hotspur have sacked Ange Postecoglou, according to Matt Law, broke the news first, and then Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Ange Postecoglou has been sacked by Tottenham Hotspur. Now, there are going to be many people saying, is this true? Have Spurs announced it? But let's be fair. When you are as reputable as Fabrizio Romano and Matt Law, you are not going to turn around and say that Ange Postecoglou has been sacked unless Ange Postecoglou has been sacked. Tottenham Hotspur look like we are going to go into a brand new era with a brand new manager. I can't pretend I'm not happy. I am very happy. You all know my feelings on this manager. I want a coach. I want somebody that will make us not embarrassed every week. I understand that there are going to be many people who are outraged by this. I understand that this is going to split the fan base so far down the middle. It is unreal. But for me, common sense has prevailed. And Tottenham Hotspur, big up, Chris. Welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
Oh, mate, I'm so. Look, I don't want to overegg this because we're still going to be divided, right? But personally, look, I'm a season ticket holder, as you know. I'm relieved. I'm relieved I don't have to watch this crap next season. So I totally agree with you. I think this is the right decision for the future of our club and the best chance of succeeding next season. Look, thanks very much. I went to Bilbao, as you know.
Yeah.
I'll always love that memory, but it doesn't, it's just not enough. It's just not enough against all the evidence that we haven't improved for 2 years. So honestly, yeah, I'm so relieved.
I think that's the key thing, isn't it, Chris? You know, I was literally just walking up from the barbers and my mate messaged me and said he's staying. There was a report that that Thomas Frank has got a handshake agreement with Brentford to stay for another year. And then literally that same friend, he's in the chat, Ash, you know you are, called me. When he calls me, I know something's happened. And he went, he's gone. And I went, oh, shut up. I mean, if you're lying to me, we're going to fall out. And look, Matt Law has said it. And obviously, I think that there's a lot of people, Chris, that have said we're hearing he's going to be sacked. But now the reports are that he has been sacked. So I'm going to show...
News, mate. It's on Sky Sports News now.
Is it on Sky Sports News? There you go. Just changing Sky Sports News. So it looks like Ange Postecoglou has been sacked by Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be a bittersweet occasion, isn't it? Hang on, I'm just putting Sky Sports News on. It's gone to an advert, of course. It's going to be bittersweet because there are many people, Chris, that didn't want this. And there are many people that did. And it's just another moment in our history that is going to split us completely down the middle. But the headline news, Ange Postecoglou is no longer the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm going to say this, Chris, for all the people like Reezy, big up Reezy in the chat, all the people like all the Matts and the Reezys. This is what happens when you say that 17th and 22 defeats does not matter. Chris, isn't this evidence that it absolutely matters to the football club that you cannot be 17th and lose 22 games?
I think it matters to two groups of people. One, Daniel Levy is looking at this thinking, what's going to happen next season and what is my best play in terms of the financial security of the club? Not security in the sense we're going to go bust, of course not, but maximizing our income and revenue. That's what he looks at. That we know that's what he looks at. Mm-hmm. And next season, if we're going to get back in the Champions League, we're going to have to finish top 5. So it matters. And I think that's why it makes sense that Daniel Levy's made that decision. The other group of people I think this massively matters to And it's only my experience from the people that I know. But as I've seen the arguments play out, the ones who go regularly, especially the hardcore who go home and away, your Lubos, your Johnny Hams, me as a season ticket, I don't go to as many as them. I've probably been to maybe 8 away games this season and all the home games. All the ones that I know wanted him to go because they've got to go and watch it every week. So that was my experience of I think a lot of the people who don't necessarily are invested in that in terms of money and time and all of that stuff. It's easy for them to not be so not invested isn't the right word, but they're not living it every second of every game like Lubo is. So that's what I've seen anyway. I've seen kind of a split along those lines, really. But
do you know what, Chris? I think you make a great point because there's that fine line between yes, we won a trophy, but that's a moment in time. Yeah. For the rest of the year, the football is absolutely horrible. And unfortunately, he's paid the price for that. He's paid the price for that. As I said to you, Chris, I think I was going to say we're the same age, but I want to hesitate and say you might just have a couple of years on me. Is that all right to say? Are you just a tiny smidgen?
I'm slightly got more experience. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You've got more experience in life than I have, Chris. But in my lifetime, I mean, I've seen some really crap Spurs teams, like really crap Spurs teams, Chris. I've never seen a Spurs team that have lost at the regularity that this Spurs team has. And this Spurs team has got Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Adogi, Spence, Dragusin, Danso, Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr, Bergval, Kulu, Madison, Son, Solanke, Richard. It should never, ever be 17th in the league, no matter how many injuries you have, should it?
There's no defence for it. I do wonder now as well. For me, this puts to bed this idea that there was any kind of discussion with Daniel Levy around, I'm going to sack the league off to concentrate on that. Because surely if that had have happened, he couldn't have sacked him then. So I didn't believe it. I never believed it for a second when Ange said, "Oh, we sacked the league off," because at the time he wasn't saying it. So I think this shows you that 17th is not acceptable. You know what though? It's not even just about a number in the league table for me. I also am aware that not many people seem to have the same view as I do. But for me, this whole 17th in a trophy is a one-off is fine. I don't think it means Ange should continue. I don't think it automatically gives him the right. And this kind of notion that this is success every year, not for me. Not for me. I was in a WhatsApp group earlier and someone said, any Spurs fan who said they wouldn't take 17th next season and win in the Champions League's in denial. And I'm like, I genuinely wouldn't, because I've got to go and watch this crap.
Right. Chris, do you know the funny thing is when people say that, first of all, I've been asked that a number of times lately, would you take 17th next year in the Champions League? First of all, and I hate this saying, so forgive me for saying this, Chris. I feel like Perchy should be saying this, and big up Perchy wherever you are, and you've got the link. The math ain't mathing, right? I hate that saying, but if you are finishing 17th in a league table, you're not winning the Champions League, right? Yeah. If your team is that bad that you are losing 20 odd games a season, you're not going to win the Champions League. So all of these people saying season 3 is better than season 2. All right, mate. So are we winning the league? Are we winning the league? And already I'm seeing people in this chat, and again, it's split. Big up to each and every one of you. Again, it's split. Lots and lots of people saying, it's back to 8th and no trophy. They're making out like we've won trophies for the last 5 years. We're not a serial winning trophy team. We've got to get that out of our mind for the moment, haven't we?
Well, I tell you what I think's happened here is I don't blame Ange for pivoting the way he has, because I don't think he's had a choice. Like if I'm in that job and I've stunk the place out in the league, but at the end of it, I've got a trophy. I've got a play here to make a justification to go, oh yeah, but that 17th is okay. If he'd have come out and said, we did our best in the league. Yeah, we've won the Europa, but we did our best in the league, but we just finished 17th. No one would have an argument. So what he's done is pivot to this. And we've seen him abandon a few things he said previously. I think he's done it solely to try and save his job. but the Spurs fan base has absolutely swallowed it hook, line, and sinker for the most part. Like they believe that we sacked it off, and all of the things. I mean, we've seen a few clips that have been regurgitated on social media recently in the last day or two around Ange saying how the league is the measure, and so we know that he's now contradicted himself again with that. So he had to do that. The people who like him swallowed it. The people who don't like him didn't. But we are where we are now. I think in the short term, we're going to be even more divided. It's going to be even more bitter over the next few hours. Let's see who comes in and see whether we unite as a fan base. Probably not, history says. But
yeah, I mean, look, welcome Perchy, welcome Lubo. How you doing, guys? You both good?
All good.
Yeah,
all
very
good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Today's a great day.
Just quickly, before I bring you chaps in, for anybody that was in any doubt, first of all, it was Matt Law. Then it was Fabrizio Romano. And now when I look at Sky Sports News, the whole screen is black and yellow with Ange sacked, Ange sacked. He has gone. And can I be honest with you guys? I thought that I would be feeling sheer joy and elation. But with anything, I'll be honest, lads, I feel relieved. I feel really relieved that now, hopefully, we can get in a coach and somebody that's going to actually do something on the training ground with these people. Perchy, let me start with you. We all know you flip-flopped a little bit after Bilbao and no, just kidding. Look, I think you've been pretty much in the same camp as me for a long time. That thank you for Bilbao, but unfortunately, the club can't be sitting 17th in the Premier League. Is that why you think Levy's made this decision? 17th, 22 losses.
I my thoughts on this with the whole Daniel. I think, look, Daniel Levy gets a lot of stick. And look, the easy and the safe option, he always gets blamed for doing what's best for him, right? And look, I'll start with this and then we'll go on with it. He gets blamed all the time. Daniel Levy does what's self-preservation mode to make himself look the better man. He's done the complete opposite here because he could have easily kept Ange. We could have been wherever, and the fans he would have had no pressure on him. Now the pressure is on Daniel Levy. First, I'll start with that because he's now made a move, and this ballsy. Listen, Spurs haven't won a trophy in 17 years. We sacked the manager that has got a trophy in 17 years. But I think this is bigger than the winning a trophy. Listen, let's be fair with it, right? This is bigger than winning a trophy.
Yeah.
Because my thought. I said, look, we've got ourselves into the Champions League in the back door. Let's not waste that opportunity. And I always say this, there's so many teams now in that conversation who want to be in the Champions League. It wasn't when we had Pochettino, when there was about 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 left. You've got 8 or 9 now in that conversation. Villa are in that conversation now. Newcastle are in that conversation now. And I think Daniel Levy's made the theory that, look, I need to get somebody in to solidify where we are. We've got ourselves back there by hook or by crook. So the next manager, it looks like it's going to be Thomas Frank, but that could change very, very quickly before we know. But we just want someone that can coach us better.
Yeah, look, do you know what? I mean, like this comment sums it up for me. Big up to my man when the Spurs go marching in, channel member as well. Said, Savra, it's a matter of you cannot play 101 games and lose 40. It's simply unacceptable for a club like ours. And guys, I don't know if you know, but obviously I've got Michael Bridges on the TV for Sky Sports. They're now showing photos of Thomas Frank, which would suggest that he's going to be the manager. But they're showing the win rates of Tottenham managers in the last decade. And Ange is absolutely rock bottom of it, guys. Absolutely rock bottom. Lubo. Yeah, it's not good enough. Lubo, I mean, I know you're going to be happy. You are someone that travels, I would say up and down the country, but you travel around the world. Apparently your wife's very happy that you're always traveling around the world. How happy are you right now?
No, listen, I think it's thanks for the memory, Ange. Bilbao was absolutely fantastic and the parade was as well. So there'll always be a small place in my Tottenham heart of successful managers that have given me great great memories and moments. But if you're looking at it, I've been saying on the shows in the last couple of weeks, is he good enough to take us forward? And take out the European situation and every other situation that he's been involved in, from, for me, the results, in-game management, training intensity, injuries, rotations, not giving the kids a chance. Everything else has been poor. So, and he hasn't got the European, the one success he's got, that he's had, he hasn't got that opportunity next year, because we're in the Champions League and it's a whole different ball game. So I think also, I think that the ball got a shock with the slide down the table.
Yeah.
And every position we went down, that's another 3 million down the pan and another 3 million. And, at the end of the day, I think Levy's a businessman. He looked at it, through financial eyes and thought, you know what, we got away with it. But, and also he took a tremendous risk. He took a massive risk with our club. And I'm sure Lewis wouldn't have been happy with that, because if we'd have lost that final, the club would have been in shit. So
Lubo, say it.
That went down a ton.
Lubo, I need you to say it.
Say
Lubo,
what?
I need you to
Levy
say
did
it.
The right.
Levy did the right
thing and
thing
got rid of Ange.
Yeah,
there you go, Dan. We got him to say it. Dan, we got him to say it.
Just so you know, before you say that, the club have now officially announced it.
Yeah.
Shall I bring it up? Would you guys like me to bring it up?
The club have literally just announced it a minute ago.
Here we go.
Read what it says, by the way.
Let's bring it up. Here we go. Just
wait till you read it.
Here we go. Again, I'm going to say this for all the people that have given many of us stick about saying that we're losers and that finishing 17th is fine. This statement, I've read one sentence, and I can tell you this statement tells you Tottenham Hotspur cannot finish 17th in the league. Here we go, guys and girls. Please bear with me while I read this. This is the official club statement. Can you all see that? There we go. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
So the official club statement says this.
No, go on.
Says, following a review of performances and after significant reflection, the club can announce that Ange Postecoglou has been relieved of his duties. Ange joined us from Celtic in the summer of 2023 and oversaw a period of change on the pitch, returning us to the attacking brand, the attacking brand of football that has traditionally been associated with the club, while writing a new chapter in our history by leading us to UEFA Europa League glory in Bilbao, an achievement that will live with all of us forever. We're extremely grateful to Ange for his commitment and contribution during his 2 years at the club. Ange will always be remembered as only the third manager in our history to deliver a European trophy, alongside legendary figures Bill Nicholson and Keith Birkinshaw. Bear with me, guys. This has got a little bit to go. However, here we go, guys. However, the board has unanimously concluded that in its best interests of the club for a change to take place. Following a positive start to the 23-24 Premier League season, we recorded 78 points from the last 66 games. That is absolutely disgusting. I'm saying that, not the club. This culminated in our worst ever Premier League finish last season. At times, there were extenuating circumstances, injuries, and then a decision to prioritise our European campaign. Whilst winning the Europa League this season ranks as one of the club's greatest moments, we cannot base our decision on emotions.
Wow.
Love it, Danny. We always say this, aligned to this triumph. It's crucial that we are able to compete on multiple fronts and believe a change of approach will give us the strongest chance for the coming season and beyond. This has been one of the toughest decisions we have had to make, and it is not a decision that we have taken lightly, nor one we have rushed to conclude. We have made what we believe is the right decision to give us the best chance of success going forward, not the easy decision. We have a talented young squad, and Ange has given us a great platform to build upon. We should like to express our gratitude to him. We wish him well for the future. He will always be welcome at our home. News on the appointment of a new head coach, who wants a new couch, will be announced in due course. Guys, the first thing I'm going to put to all of you, and welcome Dan, as well.
What?
It just goes to show Tottenham cannot finish 17th. We cannot lose 22 games. And for all the people saying it doesn't matter, they have now been proved very, very wrong. We are a bigger club than 17th.
Yeah.
Bang on.
Yeah,
Listen, do you know what? The one thing I look at that statement, I go, do you know what? For once, this is the football club at the moment has more standards than a lot of our fan base at the moment.
Yeah.
That when you read that, sorry, can we just go back to 78 points in 68 games? Can we? Can we?
1.18 points per game.
That's disgusting. Wow. That's it's disgusting. Awful. So you're right, and that's the thing for me. This is, and you're right. And the one thing I've noticed on that thing at the end of it, no one signed that off, did they? There was not signed off by someone at the bottom of that. Just saying, don't want a conspiracy theorist.
No. Yeah, just to point out as well, that's 1 3/4 seasons worth of games, right? That's not.
Yes, yeah, of course.
It's not an injury crisis.
Guys, I've got news. I've got breaking news. I've got more breaking news. I feel like I should work for Sky Sports. If you're watching Sky Sports, hit me up.
You need a banner at the bottom that just goes breaking news.
Tottenham Hotspur are expected to announce imminently that Scott Munn has been sacked too. That's from the Daily Telegraph. So it looks like Lubo, you know when we talked about that clean sweep?
Sorry, you broke up just as you...
Right. You know.
God, sorry, I lost you for about 20 seconds. All I heard was Tottenham are set to announce. Go on.
Right. So Tottenham are set to announce that Scott Munn has also been sacked. Lubo, can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay, Lubo, we talked about the clean. We talked about the clean sweep of Ange, Munn, Lang, everybody. It is happening. I don't want to say I told you so, but it is happening. And this is why Daniel Levy did not sack the manager when he should have 6 months ago. So Tottenham are sacking Munn, Ange, Donna Cullen's gone. I would guess that Lang might keep his job under Paratici for youth. It is what it is, guys. He's gone. He's gone.
Yep. I thought it was going to happen. But with the way things were going, I must admit, like most of us, wondering, is this actually going to happen? Is anything going to happen? And the word in there was used that we've been using, emotion. I feel a lot of people
that in the statement, didn't they, Dan?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel a lot of people wanted to keep him out of emotion. Now, if you want to go by what is morally correct and that, yeah, the bloke deserves another 3 months, give him a chance if you go by what is morally correct. But this ain't about morals. I use the phrase all the time, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And you want to get to the top, you don't do it through being nice. He has not done good enough in the league. He has proven he is not good enough in the league overall or can't hold 2 tournaments at the same time. You know what? This for Ange as well, I mean, he's going to be walking off with a good 10 mil in his back pocket, give or take $1 million. So he's going to be a happy man at the end of the day.
6 mil.
But for this, either way, 6 mil, 10 mil, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think
Dan,
in 2 years' time...
We won't split the difference, mate. I'll happily be sacked for 6 mil every day of the week.
You know what I mean? 6 mil, 10 mil, whatever it is. In 2 years' time, we're going to look back and look at this and go and be able to forget the 22 defeats and say Ange got us the cup. If he would have stayed on for another 6 months and it would have all gone tits up totally and everything would have gone totally wrong in the league, like I think it would, everyone... Well, a lot of people would be going on, he won us the cup, but we should have sacked him. That mud would have stuck on his back. I don't think he's got no mud to stick on his back now. I think fair play. Thanks a lot, Ange, for winning us the cup. You weren't good enough in the league. We need to progress. So that is what we're doing as a club. And Levy has done what is right for Tottenham Hotspur. And that is what everybody asked for, isn't it?
Dan, just quickly, Maury, just quickly, big up to you, Maury. Do you know how you know Daniel Levy's done the right thing? Because even little Matty K has messaged me saying, I respect Daniel Levy so much. Fully Levy out, but he is acting like a big club. So if Matty K is saying it, everyone, Maury, he's done the right thing, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. I can't stay too long. I'm gonna go home and possibly jump on the stream. But I just wanna give a toast for him being gone. First, I want to say thank you for their trophy. And now another toast. We move on. I am so happy. Let's have another parade, my friends. Ange is out. Mun is out. I'm elated.
I just say two things on that. One, I am super happy, but it's nothing against Ange, right? And I really want to make that super clear. Like, good luck to the fella. No issues with him. Super thanks for Bilbao, but let's part ways. And I can remember Ange a little more fondly than watching this crap again next season. But the other point I wanted to make, Matty is absolutely correct. For me, this emotional reaction and keeping Ange in was the reaction of a small club that don't win things and suddenly have won one trophy.
Exactly.
Agreed.
I think we have acted like a bigger club should act, and we've acted in the best interests of what happens on the pitch next season. For me,
my last words, because I gotta jump off. My last words is this is what big clubs do, right? And you know me, I'm Levy out whatsoever, but I give 100% credit to Levy for using his head, using logic, and not using the emotions. You know, difficult choice, but the Levy and the board did the right thing in sacking him, sacking Scott Mung. Land should go too and start afresh, start anew, and capitalize, on this Champions League, capitalize on this, wonderful opportunity to get back to respectability. Yes, we won the trophy, which gains us respect, but there was still people making fun of that we are the first team to finish bottom table 17th and win a trophy, which people were saying was a miraculous run whatsoever. It's an anomaly. Now we can build our youth project that we have. We can actually get a coach who could coach, and we can stop being Pornhub FC. I was getting sick and tired of it, and now we move on. My brothers, I'm out. A toast. I will have the tequila out on Tottenham away later on. Watch for it.
Thanks, Mari. Love you, dude.
Big up, Mari. Fair play. Good. A lot of it.
I've got news. Sorry, I've got news. Well, kind of news. I mean, you know this already, but David Ornstein, we know, doesn't just say things for the sake of it. David Ornstein has said that Tottenham Hotspur are expected to make a decision appointing the new head coach next week. Tottenham are expected to go for leading candidate Thomas Frank to succeed the Australian. No contact yet between Spurs and Brentford over the Danish manager. Fabrizio Romano has gone with something not slightly different. He's kind of said the same thing, but he has said Thomas Frank and Marco Silva remain two names high on the Spurs shortlist after the decision in the upcoming days. And I just want to say, sorry guys, I know I've talked a lot. I just want to say fair play to Ange. The statement he's put out has been very, very good, very professional. He said, when I reflect on my time as manager, my overriding emotion is one of pride. The opportunity to lead one of England's historic football clubs and bring back the glory it deserves will live for me for a lifetime. Sharing the experience of all those who truly love this club and seeing the impact it had on them is something I will never forget. That night in Bilbao was the culmination of 2 years of hard work, dedication, and unwavering belief. There's a lot to this, so I'll skip to the end. He says, and finally, I want to thank those who were with me every day for the last 2 years. A fantastic group of young men who are now legends of this club, and the brilliant coaches who never once doubted we could do something special. We are forever connected. Order est facere, which for anyone who doesn't know the club motto, to dare is to do. So, over to you guys. I've talked a lot. Over to you guys.
I think all this has been due planned. They've let the holidays happen and everything. They let the event happen and everything so everyone could party over winning the cup. He's let people have the holidays and that. Yeah, it's dragged us for it a little bit, like what is going on. But I think Levy's had this planned out for a while and had a good idea of what he's going to do. Because next season, like I've said and others have agreed, Ange ain't going to have that Europa Cup to save his arse. And for a club of our size to progress, we need top 5 or tops. We need Europe on a regular basis, basically.
Of course.
Otherwise, as a club, we are not going to progress, even if we win FA Cups in the process. But finishing in 10th place ain't going to take us no further as a club. And yeah, he got it right, because Levy could have easily stood on the side of this and just let it roll for another 6 months. He could have easily sat back and done that. But he's done.
You know what? Now
he couldn't do that, Dan. He couldn't. The league form was too bad. It was, the trend down, for each half season for the last 2 seasons. It's been 36, 30, 24, 14. How much lower can it get?
I know, but for the stick he's going to get for it, basically, because one way or another he's going to get stick out of this. And if he would have kept Ange, there'd have been a lot of people on Levy's side saying he's doing the right thing, keeping Ange.
You mean this?
Yeah, there's still been a lot of people. Most
people wanted him to stay. Let's be honest.
Look, I think the key bit here is, and by the way, fair play to Ange. That statement, I've just read it fully.
I love that last line, Perchy. We are forever connected. I can welcome him back with some sort of affection now, without him seeing us destroy next season.
I think you're right. I think this was done a non-emotional decision. I think this is the key word. Emotion is the key word in all of this, because I think some people are sitting on the side of, you've got to give him another season. He's won us a cup, and then look, we don't know what the future holds. Right, we can only tell what we can see right in front of us, and the future could be under. Let's just use Thomas Frank and insert. It looks like it's going to be him, but from that, they haven't even made contact with Brentford. Maybe that's a sticking point, but we don't know yet. Let's just use him for the argument. He goes and keeps us into the Champions League for the following season, and we can actually start building as a football club. One thing I will guarantee, we will not lose 26 games next season with Thomas Frank in charge. I can stand by it. We will not lose that many games with that man in charge as our manager.
Perchy, he lost 14 games this season, which I would expect from Brentford. I would expect a team like Brentford to lose 14 out of 38.
Yeah.
By the way, still in the vehicle. Lubo and the mute button don't go together, do they?
Look, I think just to add on to that, I think what we need to do now as a fan base is what will happen now, and look, this is more of a shout out to everyone here in there. Big up to 1,000 people watching, by the way. Is what I don't want to see now is all of a sudden we're going to have unrealistic standards is what's going to end up happening, because the second the next manager loses a couple of games, there'll be a certain part of our fan base that will go, well, there you go, Ange would have won that. There you go, Ange. It's not going to be as simple as that now. I think we have to be realistic. Look, and this notion that, well, if Frank doesn't win anything this season, he becomes a failure. We need to stop all that. And we need to start looking, going, do you know what? Do you know what would be good for this season? Spurs get into a semi-final, maybe a final. May win it, may not win it. Spurs get to the very latter stages of the Champions League.
Can we be honest? Can we be honest? More than anything, and I know that this is the problem. Everyone's so hung up on winning the trophy.
Yeah,
I think everyone's lost sight of what we actually need.
Agreed.
Right? We need somebody to come in and coach. I've said this. I mean, me and Dan have definitely had this conversation a million times on stream. I need a coach. I need someone to come in and go, right, we don't defend well. Let's sort that out. We don't have any balance from defense to midfield. Let's sort that out. Midfield to attack. Now, is it going to be plain sailing? Are these people expecting that Thomas Frank, Silva, Iriola, whoever it is, rocks up and suddenly we go, oh, we're second or third? No, that's not going to happen. We are 17th. We are a million miles away from competing. In year one, all I want to see, bring back some pride in the league.
Agreed.
Don't get us beaten every week. Counter whoever we're playing. If they're playing with high attacking wingers, don't leave us so exposed. Put a defensive midfielder in there or a double pivot where they both go back and forward. It's just the basics that I want to see, Perchy. The straight back to basics. And everyone, I won't say who, someone messaged me earlier and said, they must be better than Frank. And I said, you've got to remember, these players haven't been coached for 2 years.
Yeah.
The manager coming in needs to be on that training ground, drilling them like every day, coaching, drilling, set pieces, defensive drills, attacking drills. Under Ange, I'm not seeing a team that have done either.
The first thing he's got to deal with, though, is a series of about 20 transfer requests, isn't it? Because everyone's leaving now if Ange goes.
Oh, can we? Also, if I hear any more that, Romero's now going to leave. Sorry,
leave anyway.
Romero, if he wants to leave, is going to go regardless if Ange is the manager or Ange isn't the manager. There is no correlation that he will stay because of Ange Postecoglou and leave if he's not the manager. This is nonsense. Look, players and fans are very, very fickle. And we all are, right? Because the same people that are going, oh my God, this is a disgrace, Ange getting sacked. If Frank comes in and we go undefeated in the first 15, 20 games, we'll all be singing his praises. That's normal, right? That's normal. But the one thing I think we need to understand, I watched the video this morning. Chris, I think you and Sav saw it earlier as well with the actual code. If people want to understand about Thomas Frank, again, we're talking him like he's going to be the manager. More or less, we expect him to be the manager. We expect him to be the manager because that's what everyone's sort of talking about. Watch him talk how he coaches, and it will make you think immediately, this guy knows what he's doing. Forget the name. I think the problem is it's the name, right? It's not a fancy, sexy name like Xavi or an
He's
Inzaghi.
not coming from Inter Milan, is he? He's not coming from Barcelona. He's coming from Brentford. You're right.
The reason, right? If Thomas Frank was Brentford manager, we'd all be going crazy. We're getting that's the thing, right? I think now, watch how he talks about. Well, when we're playing Man City, instead of us going into a 4, we go to a 5. If this situation happens, I do this. If this situation happens, I will do that. That's all I want. I just want a manager that looks at what we've got, looks at the squad of players we've got, and goes, "Okay, you guys are too good to be conceding that many goals. This is how we change it up. You guys in midfield, Bergval, Bentancur, whoever. Look, guys, one of you, I want you picking this bit up. You do that. One of you guys in the attacking lot, Solanke, sit on the last man. I don't want you picking the ball up in the halfway line. Get in there and get yourself in the edge of the box and get yourself chances because you should be scoring more goals than 9 goals. This is the problem. As I said, it's just silly, right?
So before the new manager, let me go to Lubo. Lubo, you've put yourself on mute, by the way, so you'll have to unmute to answer my question. Lubo, isn't this the problem we're going to have already? Whether or not it's Silva, whether or not it's Frank, whether or not it's whoever, now we're going to immediately have this manager's not good enough. Is that where we're going to start off with this fan base now, that he's not, whoever it is not good enough? You're on mute, Lubo. Lubo, we can't hear you. There's no sound. No sound, mate. No sound. You've gone. It's gone. It's gone. All right, listen. Yeah. We'll get him back in. I mean, Dan, let me come to you on that. Isn't that the problem now already? Even though we've not named a manager, people are going, you deserve this, you deserve that. I mean, sorry, Dan, did I deserve a manager that finished 17th and lost 22 games equally? You know what I mean?
No, it just all comes... A lot of this comes down to people's different opinions at the end of the day, what they want, what they think is possible and everything else. And like I've said before, each their own, whatever turns you on at the end of the day. I'm sorry, 17th and 22 defeats, even if we get a cup out of it, ain't good enough for me. I can't accept that because I want to see progression. Now the question is going to be, is how many people who say stick by your manager or get behind the club through thick and thin.
Great point.
Back Thomas Frank.
Right.
How many of these people who are now, you must backhand, you must get behind him, you must do this? Okay, let's see if they can do that with the next manager then. because the first thing I'm willing to do, he gets the season, same as last season. I wasn't keen on him at the end of last season, but I wasn't Ange out until we got into about 8 or 9 games this season. And you've got to give him a season to start, basically. You can't do it in 5 minutes. But are they going to be strong behind the next manager? Because the amount of love and emotion that this fella has got and the stuff he has got away with, I've never seen no manager at Spurs ever get away with anything close. So this is where it's going to be interesting. Are people going to stick behind their new manager now and back him up like they preach on everything else?
Well, Dan, this is the key thing for me, and I'll get Lubo, and I think it sounds back. I'll get you in, Dan, first, then Lubo, and then Chris. For all those that have been saying the league results don't matter, league doesn't matter, are they prepared then to give the new manager, we keep saying Frank because he's the bookie's favourite, but are we prepared to give the new manager time? Because if the new manager loses 3 of his first 5 games, are they going to hound him out, or are they going to keep the same theory they've had with Ange that the league doesn't matter? This is where they've backed themselves into a corner now, Dan. The league doesn't matter, apparently.
Well, this is where you're going to see it, isn't it? How long is it going to take if he does say lose 4 games before a couple of people come out of nowhere and start going on, see, we should have kept Ange, everything else, all the ones that wanted Ange in. You're going to have the people who wanted Ange out saying, well, you were the one saying give him plenty of time last season when we was already on the way down, and that. It's what way people want to work it, basically. Whatever manager we get in now, we got to give him a season to see what he can produce or what he can't produce, whatever, and take it from now. That's all we can really do now. Wait for the next manager and take it from now. I just wonder how much certain people are going to be saying stick behind your manager through thick and thin. Yeah. Because they loved off Ange so much.
Do you mean people like Matt that said every manager needs 3 to 5 years, and already I'm seeing going, I don't want this manager. So essentially it wasn't, I don't back Ange, I back whoever's manager. It was, I back Ange. But the upshot of it, Chris, let me come to you then, Perchy. Chris, the upshot of it is Spurs need to get somebody in who can coach. We absolutely have to, Chris. And I think the fans that go more than anyone deserve that, don't they?
Well, I'm one of them, so absolutely, yeah. I just can't. I've never been as disconnected as I was this season. But on the, I'm a betting man in the sense that I work in betting. I don't actually bet, but I was just looking just for people's information. Obviously, one of the runners of who's going to be the manager, one of the significant runners, is not in the equation now. So as you'd expect, Thomas Frank's price is collapsing, and you can get him as short as 1 to 4 now, which is 80% likely with some places. So, but on your point, absolutely. I just want to see. That's the thing, right? If you take everything, forget our results for a second, forget all the terrible results we've had. Just judge us over 2 years on what you've seen on the pitch, the patterns of play and the progression in the players and the partnerships and our structure. Everything says that he had to go. So and I just don't want us to see the same mistake again. I don't even think we don't. For me, it's not even about signing stellar players or everything. Just get someone in who can get this team to function as more than the sum of their individual parts. That's a sign of a good manager, good coach for me, and that's definitely what I want to see.
Exactly. It's not a free hit season for me, the next one. Not at all. Yeah, you got to give the manager a season to get his stuff together. No, I don't think it is. But a lot of people are now going to turn it on. Oh, are you going to give him a free hit season now? No, I'm not. I expect certain standards off the next manager, no matter who he is.
The thing is
take it from there.
Thing is, Dan, I think what people miss completely, right? If Frank, again, I keep using Frank, but it's because he's the bookie's favourite.
It's the name that's there, isn't it?
He's the name. He comes in his first 10 games and we don't win a game, then I expect the manager to, 10, 15 games. And I'm not one of these that sits and goes, oh my God, he has to get 5 years. Nah, if you're not good enough, then you go and we get somebody else in, right? That's just, I've always been like that. Just because I sit there and go, look, Frank wasn't my number 1 choice, by the way, when people... the way I'm talking, he was in my list, but he wasn't number 1. Mine was Glasner all the way. If anyone knows me,
I agree.
Ray Glasner. But if Frank comes in and is crap, then you get rid of him and get someone else in.
You know what will happen? Obviously, the Ange fans will say, "Oh, you wanted this," but what really frustrates me, that argument, because these are two separate things. Should Ange stay? Who you get in, just if we do make a mistake and someone comes in and doesn't do well, that doesn't mean Ange should have stayed. It just means we've appointed the wrong manager.
Sorry, someone in the chat. Sorry, someone just said that Perchie's already doubting Frank. I'm not doubting it. I'm using logic here. If a manager does crap, then I'm not going to sit there and go, he has to stay no matter what. Now, if you're not going to, like, I've got no loyalties to managers. Managers come and go. Like, the same with players, the same with chairman and wizard. They all come and go, right? I think for me, the one thing I look at, the one thing I use Frank, and I've done a lot of research in the last few days and just reading up about him and stuff. I look at some players and I go, some players right now who I feel, for me right now, are a little bit disillusioned in what they do. He'll come in and find a role. I'll use Pape Sarr, for example. The one player I look at him and go, Frank will get you into a role that you're suited for. He will know how to get you to play well. He'll get you playing the best for you. Or even someone like Bergvall. Everyone's been raving a lot about Bergvall this year. I still sit there and go, hang on, well, I don't really know what Bergvall does. Solanke's another one. I think he'll get a goal scorer out of Solanke if he plays him in the right role. And I think that's what I've always wanted from a manager, just to look at what we've got and go, I can make you better.
Percy, just quickly, I just want to say, when people are saying this, I mean, there's a lot of people, first of all, that are making it sound like I've made this decision. Right, like a lot of people there you go.
It's your fault, Seba.
It's my fault. Of course it is. You hounded him out. Listen, I've said all along to everyone, all these people that keep justifying to themselves that 17th didn't matter, whoever wrote that statement, which I'm guessing is going to be Daniel Levy or Vinay Venkatesham, right, has clearly said it's not good enough. We've taken 78 points from 66 games. That is absolutely atrocious. So when James Alexander, big up to you, thank you for commenting on the show, has said, I don't want to see, in quote marks, I don't want to see trophies, just give me a good performance in the league. James, no one said that. Why is it that if fans want to see us doing better in the league, you automatically think it means we don't want trophies? You can't, it's not either or, James. It's not either or. And when we look at this, these are the odds, guys. And Chris, you're about to come into your own, mate, because you work in betting. What do these odds tell us? You got Thomas Frank as the favourite, Marco Silva is your second favourite, and then Glasner and Xavi. It's the four that everyone's been talking about.
Well, to be honest, that is a one-runner race at the moment. But that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. So all that means is that there's no significant information available on anyone else. And we've got some significant, it's all speculation, but it's all been Thomas Frank, right? And that's all you're seeing there is the fact. If there's been 50-50 and it has been our Spurs are weighing up Frank or Silva, you'd see Silva's price a lot shorter. But it has all been overwhelmingly Thomas Frank. So, yes, Silva second, Glasner third, Xavi fourth in the betting. But honestly, with those prices, they are nowhere in the running at the moment. So the expectation right now is very clear that it's going to be Frank. But I'll say the same thing I've said to you guys in our chats. These markets in particular are a layer's dream. And people who don't know what that means, it means back, if you can, back against the favourite happening, because the information that's out there is very poor quality. They're put in for low limits. Basically, I'm just saying don't read too much into these prices. So, Frank is clear favourite. Don't think it's a done deal.
Chris, are you telling me I should put 20-1 on Carlos Corberán to be our next manager? Are you saying I should put 20 quid or 21 for Carlos Corberán to be our next manager? Is that what you're telling me?
If you scroll further down, mate, you get 66s on Patrick Vieira if you fancy him.
Hey, I saw Wenger on the list the other day.
Guys, look, I think what we've got to do here, I genuinely, what I'm seeing is so many people going, hi, I support this club and I'm an Aussie Ange fan. I'll be honest, I really hope that sort of stuff doesn't come with the next manager. Whoever the next manager is, like, I don't want, if it is Thomas Frank, I don't want loads of Danish people to suddenly start being Spurs fans because Thomas Frank's here, and then they start telling us about the club we support. Equally, I'm seeing lots of comments like this one where we want trophies. Sure, we all want trophies. Every football club in the country wants trophies. But Lubo, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, you're back. Good. Lubo, we all want trophies. But why have we now got this section of the fan base that feel like to win a trophy, you have to be utterly atrocious at the same time in your league campaign? Where is this notion coming from?
I'll tell you where it comes from. Hang on, let me just reverse back. I'll tell you where it comes from, Sav. It comes from the fans not having leaders at the top who want success. That is it in a nutshell. There are no other reasons. People have been used to this mediocrity for the last 24 years, for most of the 24, 25 years, and people are used to it. And all this, well, okay, if we finish 15th, at least win the FA Cup. That's all bullshit. I've said so many times on so many shows, this is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club with a great history. This is a big club. This is a great club. Start thinking that way. Start thinking we shouldn't be right down there. This is all bullshit. And it comes from the owners, because they don't uphold the values of this and traditions and history of this great club. So Munn's gone, Cullen's gone, Ange has gone. One more to go. Sling your hook, Daniel. Make it 4 out of 4. Sell your shares in the club. Let's get someone in who wants success. Then I'll probably be pissed on podcast for weeks. So
say how you feel, Lubo.
Yeah,
Lubo,
absolutely.
you're right there.
Absolutely perfect. Very happy. We're nearly there. 3 out of the 4 have gone. Nearly there. When he goes, bloody hallelujah. And in terms of what you asked me for, Sav, as well, what is it? I don't understand. If you're a football fan, it was just the Aussies that got behind, not all of them, but the Aussies that got behind Ange. I'd walk out of games in the last season and 3 quarters, and you'd look at the performances and how we're wide open. Tactically, we're naive. We're being schooled by people like Hertzler at Brighton, who's 30 years old, and you'd have the Ange sexuals all on Twitter and on podcast comments. Oh no, he's all right. He's this, he's that. Nobody could, because he was because he was a fellow Aussie. Everybody got behind him, and nobody could see what he was doing. It was just blind faith. It was madness.
Lubo, can I back you up?
I've got Aussie cousins, and my cousin is from Brisbane, who supported Brisbane Raw and told me how great Ange was when we got him.
But can I say something, Lubo, backing on from that? And guys, at the top, I think a lot of people, Lubo's hit the absolute nail on the head.
Yeah.
For all those that are going trophy, just the word trophy, when was the last time anyone... Now, listen to the wording of this, because I know loads of people in the chat won't listen to the wording. When was the last time anyone enjoyed a Spurs performance?
Oh, gosh, not many. Not many. I mean, I can't remember the last time I went, oh, do you know what? I love that we played today. I can't remember the last time. No, nail on head that is, because you're right. When do we actually? And the thing is what really frustrates me. Someone said Bilbao. It was one of the worst games of football I've ever witnessed. Don't just because we won the cup was not a reason to go. It was a great game. We were crap. It was a crap game of football, but we won the cup. But look, I think just to sort of carry on with what sort of Lubo was sort of saying was that he's bang on with it. Like, and I just think when people talk about trophies, right? When people don't do, all I hear is, oh, well, he won a trophy. Right. Now, how many managers win a trophy and don't finish in the top half of the table? Do we actually? There's not many. Like, you can think of your odd ones, your Portsmouths, your Wigans, Swansea.
Archie, I've got the stats. It's 10. It's 10. If we're looking at the Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup and League Cup, 10 of the last 120 winners have been in the bottom half of the table. 3 of that 10, Tottenham Hotspur. 3 of that 10, Tottenham Hotspur.
Are you trying to say that basically we have to be crap to win a cup? Is that literally how it works now? We basically literally have to be dog shit to win trophies. But look, I think the key bit here is, look, we don't know how the owners and the chairman and how the club's going to operate moving forward. We know what they've done before. Look, for me, it's all about moving forward. Right now, I tried to put it like going playing blackjack in a sense. Like at the moment, with Ange Postecoglou, it's like we're sticking on a 3 and a 5 where you've got 8, and you go, we're gonna get beaten by the dealer. We might as well go hit me again because we're more likely to we might bust. But it's almost like I can't see how keeping Ange was all what keeping Ange was going to do was mean we get sacked in October, November, December. In theory, his trajectory was this. So in theory, he was going to get sacked regardless, right? I just think it's mad. Like, we finished 17th and fans are happy with it. I don't get it.
As I thought, guys, by the way, as I thought, people in the chat have not listened to the wording.
Of course.
When was the last time you enjoyed a performance? I didn't say when was the last time we ground out a win by sticking 10 men behind the ball. People like Lubo, people like Chris, they go week in, week out. Idiots, aren't you, lads? Aren't you, eh? Idiots. You get up out your house, you go and watch Ange ball. On a serious note,
we are masochists, aren't we, Chris?
Masochists,
FC.
right?
That's a good fair.
These guys and another 59,900 and whatever it is, go and watch Spurs play every week, right? And the performances we're seeing are utterly horrific. And I think when people take a step back away from the Europa League run, I think they're going to actually see, yeah, it's dreadful. And by the way, just quickly, I've got to say this. Leighton in the chat, loads of people are saying it. Sorry, I truly believe that common sense has escaped our fan base.
Bang on.
People are putting up, Thomas Frank has lost 110 games in 333. He manages Brentford. He brought Brentford up when they were relegation candidates in the Championship. He brought them up to the Premier League, and unlike all the others that come up and go straight back down, he's kept them up there for 4 years. He loses his best players every single year. Every year. Look already this year. Buemo, Flecken, right? Last year, Raya, Tony, right? Years before that, Ollie Watkins. I could go on and on and on.
Loads.
Ben Rama, right?
Raya.
Right, there's loads of them, right?
Yeah.
This man does an absolute fantastic job with the tools available to him. Dan, why is he getting so much disrespect? It is unbelievable.
I think some of it has come down to the fact that all of a sudden we've won a Tier 2 European Cup that basically gave us a scapegoat into the Champions League. I think people all of a sudden thinking we're significantly bigger than we are again.
Mate, agreed.
What he done was not good enough. 17th in the league, we are expected better than that. We are not a Liverpool. No, we are not a Man City, whatever. But we are bigger than 17th. And I don't know what else people wanted from next season, basically. Frank's going to get the stick for the sheer fact that he hasn't got the right name, and if we do go for him,
he's not managing a glamorous football.
Exactly.
That's the reason,
and
isn't it?
Taking him is a gamble. But then every manager and player you buy is a gamble to an extent. With Ange, we got 2 years proof overall that it ain't working in the league. So with him coming in, the thing I see with Frank, I see a significant better coach, significantly better for this project, if it is that we are sticking by, if we've even got one. And I see similarities to Poch, basically, when he was at Southampton. I mean, go stick Ange at Brentford and see if he can keep him in the Premier League for 4 years. But I very much doubt it.
Dan, do you know what?
It's harder to do than people give it credit for.
If you swap managers, right, and and Ange went to Brentford, with the budgets they have and the players that they get, he would struggle with it. Let's be fair. You imagine Ange trying to defend with Ben Mee at centre half, trying to trudge himself back every time on a high line. I think this is the problem, right? And people in the chat don't understand context, the key word, the big C word, right? Because it's all about body of work. People don't understand it. They go, well, he's only a mid-table manager. He's a mid-table manager for a team that should be in the bottom half of the championship.
Yeah.
Like, are we not understanding that? Brentford, if Spurs had signed the players Brentford had signed, forget what they were after he coached them, before he coached them. If Spurs had signed Brian and Burmo from, it's gonna kill me. Does anyone remember where he came from? I can't remember. It was a French club. I can't remember. Forget it. It doesn't matter. If Spurs had signed him, we'd all be going, Daniel Levy signing, cheap and cheerful. What Frank done is turned him into one of the best wingers in the Premier League. Turned him into that by coaching him. And by the way, that's one player. I could list loads of them. Ivan Toney, signing from Peterborough, turned him into one of the hottest strikers in the Premier League. Ollie Watkins turned him into one of the hottest strikers in the Premier League. The list goes on. Ezra Konza, David Raya. I can list loads and loads more. Look how good Damsgaard is at the moment. Players like that. We're all sitting there going, I'd love Damsgaard in our team. You didn't want him. You didn't want him before. You didn't want him before he was at Brentford because of coaching. And this is the bit, but I always call it body of work. Sade, someone's put in the chat, another very good-looking player that has been coached really well. And
their back three is Collins, Pinnock, and Vandenberg. Imagine Ange had those three.
Exactly. That's the difference, right? And now flip it, right? Sorry, just to flip it. Now look what he could do. He could do with the players that we have. We've got far superior players than Brentford. Far superior. You're now telling me that he can't coach. Look, forget about even the big names. Look at some of the sort of youngsters that we've signed recently. He gets the better out of Udogie. I can guarantee you Udogie will be much better left back under Frank. I think even likes of Pape Sarr, Lubo will like this. Archie Gray.
Well, hang on a sec. You talk about Frank's ID. He wanted Gray last year, so I'm sure Archie's rubbing his hands if Frank walks through the door.
Look, that's my whole point, right? Players will be played better because the manager comes and will go, hang on, guys, you're defending too much. Because look, guys, I've got mates that are Brentford fans. I speak to them a lot, and ever since the whole Frank thing came out, and I said, look, can you give me some points on what you think he will do when he comes to Tottenham? He'll go, he won't blow the world of the light. He won't come in and blow the world light. But the one thing he'll do immediately, he'll make you harder to beat. And I went, done. That's all I need right now. I need a manager that will make us hard to beat.
Everyone remember this. Everyone remember this from Leighton. He said, Sava, save this. If you're still saying Frank in at Christmas or Boxing Day, I will super chat you a round of beers. Leighton, let's go bigger than that. If I'm still saying Thomas Frank in at New Year's Day, make it £100.
Buy all beers.
Make it £100, Leighton. And I tell you what, if I'm saying Frank out by New Year's Day, I'll give £100 to your charity. Bearing in mind, that's only 4 or 5 months of management. And I like this guy. Bearing in mind, Leighton, he's not the manager yet. Even though we have just had this, sorry, I'm getting news all the time. Sorry, I make it sound like, right, Ben Jacobs has just said this. Thomas Frank is considered a leading contender to replace Postecoglou. Daniel Levy has already held multiple meetings with the Brentford boss. Marco Silva is appreciated, but he has said publicly that he's staying at Fulham. And I guess, Chris, that's probably why we saw the odds that we did so heavily stacked in favour of Frank, because he's probably more gettable than Silva.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think from what people are saying in the chat that price is shortening all the time. So yeah, there's some 2 to 9s now. Yeah, I'm just going to add one thing to. I'm actually going to head off. I was going to get my dinner on an hour ago, but it all got very exciting.
Are you going to survive?
I've got to go to the supermarket. I've got to buy the ingredients first.
Well, what we got on the menu?
To add, I don't know. I'll make it up when I get there. One thing I just wanted to add to what Perchy said about what he expects from Frank coming in. I've got one other thing I want from my manager. I want a manager that when he talks, I believe what he says and I recognise what he's saying about the match I've just watched. I don't want to be told it's outstanding. And what was that really the stupidest one of all was something. Was it when we lost at Wolves and that Milesy, who drives me mad, the club interviewer guy, said something like, "Oh, you must have been really pleased with how we played between like their 3 goals in the first half." I'm like, what are we talking about? So, but I can't be dealing with this nonsense. Ange has blagged his way. He's abandoned his principles. He's bullshitted, frankly, a lot of the last few months.
Just a bit.
I just want someone I believe in. Simple as that. On that, guys, I'm going to leave you to enjoy yourselves, and I'll catch up with you later.
Thanks, Chris. See you later,
right,
guys.
so
This is.
I'm
going
to jump off just for a few minutes. I just want to say one thing.
Go on.
Managers, there are plenty of very good managers who never get the opportunity at a higher level, and deserving managers. And there are a lot of managers that do get an opportunity that are downright shite. This guy, I think, for me, has proved himself at Brentford and is worthy of a bump up the ladder. And that's why I'm looking forward to seeing him at Spurs if he signs. I'm sure everything looks like it will be, Frank. So the guy deserves it, and everybody should get behind him. All this Ange in, Ange out nonsense that's been going on for ages. But at the end of the day, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. People will like Ange because he gave it large and he was a great orator. Others will like it because they're fellow Aussies and they feel they're supporting him. And there are others that will think he did a good job. But I think everybody should now get behind Thomas Frank or whoever the next manager is, and let's build this club back up to where we were. We've dropped a hell of a long way, albeit I know we won a European trophy, but in terms of league positions, where have we gone since 2017? We've gone from 2nd to 17th. It's a long way down.
Well, Lubo, isn't it funny? I know you need to jump and then you're going to come back, but isn't it funny, right? All the things I'm seeing said about Frank, I feel like everyone's forgetting where we are. I'm seeing people go, 8th place with Frank. Simple answer. We're 17th. Frank's never played 2 games a week before. Well, Ange Postecoglou's just shown that he can't play 2 games a week. So all the things they're arguing about as to why Frank isn't the guy is absolutely applicable to their guy, Ange Postecoglou. This is where I find it like the hypocrisy is absolutely crazy.
I think a lot of people haven't realised.
I'll see you in a few minutes.
See you in a minute, mate.
I think a lot of people haven't realised what's finished 17th in the league has actually done to us. Yes, getting that Europa Cup and getting in the Champions League is going to have saved our ass to an extent of progression we can make. But like what you say, Sava, when players come in or we go for certain players, they go and look at the club, as you say, if it's done that way. They're going to look at it and say, okay, Champions League, I like that one. I'm going for that. Europa Cup, okay, finishing 17th in the league. 22 defeats just in the league, 26 defeats over the... I'm not digging that one. And that is a big problem of getting a, say, elite manager in there, players in there, whatever, because they are going to look back and that 17th is going to stand out more than we are in the Champions League. Yeah, the Champions League does rescue us to an extent of it can attract players if we show that we're going to go in a different direction. But I just don't think a lot of people realise how much finishing 17th, how much damage that actually done.
But Dan, you're spot on, and this is the problem. And by the way, Matt, I'm going to hold you accountable. Matt, I've loved our banter back and forth all year, mate. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. And don't forget, you still owe me a beer. You said if Spurs win the Europa League, you're going to meet me and we're going to have a beer together. So I'm going to hold you to that. The problem you've got here, Matt, is when you say things like, if it was Frank, we'd finish 12th with no Europa. You've got absolutely no evidence to back that up. None of us can sit here and say that. I keep hearing, oh, good job he didn't sack Ange. You wouldn't have won the Europa. What, so no other manager could have come in and beaten Bodo Glimt, Alkmaar, Frankfurt and Man United? I think the problem you've got, Matt, is you have backed yourself into a corner, my friend. Yeah? And it's all banter. It's all good fun. But I'm going to quote you. And I memorized this, Matt. I'm going to quote you. No, Sava, you always say I'm an Ange fan. I'm not an Ange fan. I just believe that any manager at Tottenham Hotspur deserves 3 to 5 years. I back all managers. Now, all of a sudden, your boy Ange has been sacked and it's, oh my God, Frank, oh, Silva, oh. Don't they need 3 to 5 years, Matt? Or are you joining in my theory that we judge managers on how well they do in the moment? Which one is it, mate? I'll leave that with you. Which one is it?
Oh,
this is the problem.
Oh, mate, you've caught himself there. Oh,
this
no.
is the problem, Matt. When people say things. So, by the way, the rest of you, there's over 1,000 of you in here. The rest of you who are having a pop at me, you're not scot-free. I'm going to go at you as well. Just remember, the league doesn't matter as long as we win a cup. Cool. So all of next season, until we're knocked out of every cup, Thomas Frank can lose any league game he wants as long as we're still in a cup. You guys said it, not me. Anytime we have injuries and we lose a game, I'm allowed to say, wasn't Thomas. It was the injuries, right? This is the problem of making 1,001 excuses for a manager. You have to apply those excuses to every manager. Dan, is that fair?
I agree.
Percy, either one. You've got to apply the same rules, right?
No, you're spot on with it. And I think, do you know what annoys me, right? And it's some people clearly don't know our history and just don't understand how it works. The amount of disrespect to Thomas Frank, by the way, is clearly you're either doing it on purpose because you rated Ange and you love what Ange was all about, winning 26, losing 26 games this season, whatever like that, or you just don't understand what body of work he's done at Brentford. Our best manager in the last 10 years, 15 years. We signed him from Southampton.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Pochettino came in. And what was Pochettino? He was a coach. Because he came in and coached people.
Coach.
I think, and who's to say, look, I don't know the future. Who's to say that Frank doesn't come in and have a run like Pochettino? As I said, we all know the one negative on Pochettino, well, he didn't win anything. And he should have done under Tottenham.
But again, JS, look at the squad and the money that Thomas Frank has had. And still lost less games at Brentford than Ange had.
I'm going to have to. Sorry, I'll give you the facts on that. Hold it. I'll tell you.
Hang on, I've got something to bring up. Right? Because again, everyone belittling this man, right? Ange Postecoglou had £400 million in 2 years, correct? Give or take a few mil.
Yep.
400 million quid. Thomas Frank, as you will see here, Thomas Frank in 7 years as Brentford manager, 7, has spent 254 million. So in 5 seasons more, he spent 150 million less, right? Whilst receiving 183 million pound back, right? A net spend over 7 years of 71 million pounds. That means, guys, if I'm not wrong, 254 million. Let me just quickly make sure I've got this right on my calculator, right? 254 divided by 7. Thomas Frank spends 36 million pounds a season.
Yeah.
36 million. Hang on, Percy, hang on.
Go.
36 million pounds a season. To put that into focus, that is what we paid for Archie Gray. He spends 36 million pounds a season, has managed to get this team into the Premier League. Let's bring it up again, right? Into the Premier League. 2 top 10 finishes in the Premier League, right? loses his best players every single year. Why on earth can people not turn around and understand what you would judge him against versus what you judge the managers who have got super money against? By the way, in the last 5 years, Ange is the third. Spurs are the third highest spenders in the Premier League. Third highest. So people need to go and do their fact checking before they say things like, oh, Frank lost 33 games. Yes, he's manager of Brentford. He's manager of Brentford. Their stadium is tiny. Their budget is tiny. They lose their best players. Do you know what Brentford do, guys? And again, I'm guessing people haven't gone and done their homework. Brentford don't have the youth teams. What Brentford do is take a reserve team of younger players around the world playing in places like Scandinavia, right? And then they play all these teams and pick up the best players from them. But all of this just gets swept under the carpet because he's not won anything. So cool. Tell you what we'll do, and I'll round off my rant like this. For the Matts, for the Reezies, for all these people, let's call up Steven Gerrard. He's won something.
Yeah. The winning something record means bullshit, man. Sorry, it's bullshit. Like, but I've done the calculations on it, right? I just had a look. Over Ange's tenure, Thomas Frank spent £140 million. And before I say that, over 2 seasons, so he averages about 70 mil a season. In that time, he lost David Raya, he lost Ivan Toney, okay, and that collectively was 70 million or give or take 70 mil each. The one that he bought in is Ivan Toney's replacement this season. Do you know what happened to him? He was out all season. He played 8 games because he got a injury that took him out all season. So he basically the replacement for Ivan Toney was unavailable all season. And we all would cry about injuries, but do you know what's damning though? Brentford weren't even close to us this season. They were miles ahead of us. They were 18 points ahead of us. And to put it into context, that's 6 more wins than us. 6. Let that sink in.
I mean, there you go. Look, there's the Premier League table that people are belittling Thomas Frank for. They were the 5th highest scorers in the Premier League, right? Yeah. 5th highest scorers in the Premier League. Look at that. So 16-8, so 24 games, right? 24 games they didn't lose. Tottenham lost 22.
It's like what Matt's just said here on 1808. If we're the 3rd highest spenders, how the hell are we giving Frank the helm? He's not used to that power. What, and Ange was?
Yeah.
And Ange was used to that power, was he?
Here we
You're
go.
contradicting yourself, mate.
You know I love it. Swanex, you know I love you, dude. But if you're going to come for me, you know I'm going to rip you a new one. Sava, what you're saying about being all the cups is BS. I don't know what that means. You was Ange out after game 11 of Ange's first season. By that same standard, after 11 games, if Frank wants out, oh, Swanex, bless you. You've tried hard here. Thank you. Now, let's see. I have flippantly said I was Ange out after 11 games. Now, why have I flippantly said I was Ange out after 11 games? Percher, you can answer this for me before I bring up the picture.
We did the watch along because we went down to 9. We went down to 9 men, and instead of going, do you know what?
Ready?
Let's sit in. He goes, oh, let's just play everyone on the halfway line. Like, what are we doing here?
So it was that moment. That I knew, for me, this guy's crazy. Now, I remember saying to you, because if you remember, the next game was Wolves away. And I remember saying to you, let's see what he's made of now. He's not lost in 10. Let's see what he's made of. And he's just made awful tactical decision after awful tactical decision. Now, if I'm so wrong, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at a few of Sava's highlights. Let's see how wrong Sava has been. This horrible, horrible Sava. Horrible.
Big up Lee for the raid, by the way.
Big up Lee Gunner. Thank you very much. And happy birthday for yesterday, bro. I'm sure that there's some very messy heads in Spain today for your entourage that were all out drinking with you. Big up to you, my man. Oh, I like this. Hang on. Oh, I like this. Hang on, everybody. RJLF has said, you don't understand football, you helmet. Hang on. We're going to do a VAR check. 1 second. Checking.
Brilliant.
Troll. VAR check. Troll. RJLF, what part of you comes to a channel where the host will interact with everybody and the one thing you want to say to get a response is you're a helmet? I mean, 1, it doesn't offend me. 2, I've brought your message up and made you look like a bit of an idiot in front of 1,400 people. 3, hope you have a lovely evening, mate. All right? You have a nice one, my friend. Listen, this is my problem with it. I have turned around and said, right? No, Swanix, I've just showed you they're spending the Premier League as well. This is hilarious.
That was his whole tenure.
That was his whole tenure. Even if 200 million of that is in 4 years in the Premier League, that sink in, right? Now, where I was before the trolls descended, right? Highlights I've said this season. Levy will never put up with this. Levy will not put up with being that low down in the Premier League. Yes, he will. Ange would have told him it's about the Champions League. I told you, don't believe that for 1 second. And I don't believe it for 1 second. 2, right? You cannot be 17th and lose 22 games. 3, he has no tactical acumen. 78 points in 66 games at a 1.18 rate shows that. 4, he's got the lowest ratio of any Spurs manager for however many. I think they just put up the last 10 Spurs managers on Sky Sports. He's got a 41% win rate. That is utterly, utterly disgusting. 5, he can't coach. 6, he's done nothing for the youth players that are here. So everyone that's losing their mind, right? Everyone that's losing their mind that we might get a Thomas Frank and finish 8th. If you offer me 8th right now compared to 17th, yes, please. Now, hear what I said. Doesn't mean I want to finish 8th. It's not what I said. I will predict where we finish after the transfer window. But Dan, we've got people looking down their noses at 7th or 8th in the league, but accepting 17th. This is. I feel like we're in the twilight zone, Dan.
I think a lot of us agreed that the team itself was better than 17th.
Of course,
yes, we did have a lot of injuries at one point. Half of them, Angie's own fault, only him to blame for half of it. But then that's where your manager needs to adapt. Realise that your weakest point is, say, for instance, you're missing 3 of your back 4 or whatever. So you've got to tighten up at the back one way or another. One way or another, that is how a manager adapts. People said he adapted for the game against Man U and that. Yes, he did. He did what he had to do. But going from 10 in front of the ball to 10 behind the ball is hardly adapting to a game as such. I just don't think he was good enough for what we needed. No players have really made any progression out of him, except maybe you can say Johnson for scoring 17 goals, Bergvall. Give me another player that has actually progressed. Give me another player that he has made significantly better, like Poch did when he came in, like Frank does at Brentford when he gets players in, and then over the season, you see him getting better. Over the next season, you see him improving. Literally every player we've got, except for Bergvall, and you can only say Johnson for the goals, has regressed.
Yeah.
Literally every player.
Not one player has got better under this manager. Not one.
Would you like to hear something that The Athletic have just put out?
Oh, this will be good.
Again, apparently, I'm just a helmet that doesn't know anything about football. Imagine being called a helmet. What a weird saying.
That is a weird one. I don't know where that one's from.
My wife is sitting next to me working, by the way, listening to this. And even when I said helmet, she went, huh? She's giggling at me.
That's a proper 80s saying.
She calls me a lot worse. Don't worry about that. Right. Here's what The Athletic have just posted out, right? Rival managers sense the vulnerability in Spurs. You can see what their ideas are very clearly, said a coach at a rival Premier League club who wishes to remain anonymous to protect relationships. They play with a lot of players in their front line. They're good at the high press where they score a lot of goals. But when their fullbacks are both up, leaving big spaces down the sides, you can kill them. Right? We've said this, Dan, for 2 years. And what is the one thing Ange has not adapted in 2 years? That exact thing. He has not learned in 2 years. He's not learned.
But you didn't even need to be anonymous. I mean, Gary O'Neill said it on Monday Night Football, in which went, how do you beat Tottenham? Here you go. I'll give you the spreadsheet how we did it. It weren't hard. And the thing is what annoys me is the adaptation word is the one that keeps coming up. I hear, oh, he's adapted. Oh, he adapted in the Europa League. No, he didn't. I always say this. Whenever someone uses the word adapting, you adapted by tweaking, changing things. He threw his whole ideology out the window just to win the Europa League. Does that not tell you everything about it? He went, do you know what? I know I can't. I'm getting this wrong. Let's throw it out of the window. And I just think it's crazy, right? I think people have lost their collective marbles. Ange has become more divisive at Tottenham than Daniel Levy. I didn't think it was possible. I mean, I've never known anything else. And someone with, I think it's Skull X, great name. So Skull X is saying we're so entitled. I like that one. Entitled
about what?
Entitled about what is what I'd love to know what I'm entitled about.
Surely we're the opposite of entitled. Surely if we were entitled, we'd say we've won a trophy. Everything else doesn't matter. By the way, Dan, would you like to... somebody just sent me the squad wages for the season in the Premier League. So Tottenham Hotspur sit in 7th place for total wages. So we're behind City, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool and Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think Brentford are in terms of Premier League wages in the wage table?
I think
I'd say 14th, 15th.
I think they're 7th. No, I think they're 18th.
Brentford are 19th.
Yeah, I knew it.
Brentford have the 19th salary they have the 19th lowest salary in the Premier League.
I knew it was down the bottom.
Wow.
Again, just goes to show what a bloody good job he's done. And point per salary, he's the best manager in the country. But don't worry, what's he won? Don't worry, what's he won? We don't want him. I don't think people understand, Dan, the difference between a manager and a coach. I think that's what's going on here. They don't understand. There are people like Sir Alex Ferguson. He's one of the greatest managers of all time. Not
but he
a
wasn't
coach.
one of the best coaches.
Not a coach.
The difference with him is he could coach as well, but his coaching levels were nowhere up to his manager levels. And that was why he had a solid coaching staff all the time.
That's what I was going to say. What Sir Alex was very good at is what Sir Alex was brilliant at. He got the best coaches to do the coaching from, and he went and he was the leader of it all. But whereas Frank will come in and he will be the man on the training ground going,
he's more like a Poch, isn't he?
Why are you not? I don't want you touch tight. You've got to give a gap here. I don't want you like. If anyone wants to, I can share the video that I sent in here. Of what
I've read
Frank Savvy. I think you watched the video this morning of Frank.
Say that again, mate. Sorry. The dog tried to make a mad dash for the front door. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, when people talk about it, I said it'll be interesting. People go and watch on the Sky Sports YouTube page and type in Thomas Frank Masterclass, and he does an in-depth dive on coaching, on how he coaches Brentford to play against this team, and then if he's playing against, And I was saying, go and watch it, guys. Look, listen, I get it. People are all over the place emotionally, and it's fine. I've heard it from a lot of you lot all season, but just listen to what he says. And what I liked about him was he doesn't talk with superlatives. He talks he's very sensible. He's very, very sensible, right? When he talks, it's okay. If we go down to 10 men, this is what I do. If we concede a goal, this is what I do. If we score a goal, this is what I do. And if I'm playing one of the top 6 teams, this is what I do. And he just goes into it and he talks very calmly. And I think, Dan, you touched on it earlier, made a great point. I don't want a manager that just sorts and talks in riddles and superlatives and I don't want a manager to come and go, I win in my second season. I want a manager to come in and say, look, I'm going to do the best I can do. I will make us better and I will get us into better positions to be competing at the best level that we can be. I don't want this sort of do or die attitude from a manager. This all Ange is like the person that goes to the casino and goes all in all the time. I want a guy that is sensible. And for me, I'm not sort of, and by the way, Thomas Frank's not my number one choice, but I can tell he'll come in and he will make us much more calmer. And I think that's the bit for me. It's mad. Just mad.
I mean, it's obvious what we need at this club, and we've quite a few have said it. And like you said earlier, Sava, it is a coach is what we need through and through.
Coach.
Someone to coach these players, to even get these players back to their standards, let alone make them better. Because it's not just that they haven't progressed, they've regressed as players, most of them.
Yeah.
We need to get them back to standards, let alone make them better. And I think Frank is again, if there is this project, if there even is, we don't know, yeah? Frank is more your ideal person for the job than Ange. No, he's not my first choice either, but I'd be more than happy to take him on at the club, basically. And like I've said, I just see similarities to Poch there. And
I do as well.
Taking him on is going to be a gamble. Of course it is. But then every player you buy is going to be a gamble. Some more than others, same with managers. But
Conte was a gamble. Jose was a gamble.
Exactly.
Everyone's a gamble, right? Everyone's a gamble.
It could go one or two ways. Frank could come in and become brilliant for us, or it could go badly wrong. Like it's very normal that things like this go both ways. And I think, but my point is sticking with Ange. I don't understand unless people just I use this one. I use this for everyone in the chat. Everyone in the chat, if we hadn't have won the Europa League, you would have all been saying the same thing. Am I wrong?
Exactly.
If we hadn't have won the Europa League and Man United had won it in Bilbao, no one would be having this conversation.
Or if it was a League Cup that we won instead of the Europa that got us the Champions League.
And someone put a great post. I can't remember what it was. It was a while back when, if you wanted Ange out before that final, 7:59 p.m. May the 21st. If you were Ange out, and then not Ange out after winning that, something's wrong, because the manager surely cannot be judged over 90 minutes. That isn't how it works. It's funny, isn't it? Because for me, a lot of people that are annoyed that sacking Ange, right, are judging a manager on 90 minutes, whereas the majority here are judging this manager on 2 years worth of football. I'm judging him on 2 years worth of football. You're judging him on 90 minutes. That's the difference to me.
It is. A lot of people change their mind on 90 minutes.
It's crazy.
90 minutes is all it took to turn around it something like, what was it, 80% Ange out, 20% in, and then it took 90 minutes to literally flip-flop it straight to the other side. 90 minutes.
Yeah. Look, Lubo, welcome back. By the way, we're only going for another 5 minutes, guys. I am actually heading out tonight. So this came at a very unfortunate, inconvenient time for me. And I do have 18 super chats to read. So, huh? What did he say?
Inconvenient. You inconvenient to do a podcast.
Mate, listen, I was getting ready. When I go out, I go to the barbers and then I go straight home, get changed, and I'm out. And then I said to the wife, I'm like, he's been sacked. I've got to go live, but I'm meant to be going out. So anyway, it's a very inconvenient.
Did you get to the barbers?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Is this coming? Are you sorry, Pierluigi Collina? What's going on over there? What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Pierre Lubo Collina.
I had my 0.5 haircut this afternoon.
How long does it take? Like 8 seconds?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. This takes an hour.
Sat down.
Mine's an hour.
I sat down in the chair. The barber said to me, you've had a good couple of weeks. I said, yeah. He said, you're in Bilbao. I said, yeah. He said, you must be very happy. Then he got on with cutting my hair.
Oh,
There you
superb.
go.
So Lubo's been flirting with his barber.
If you were in front.
Oh, hang on. I love these people. People in the chat are very annoyed at us. They're very annoyed at us. Nothing to do with the 17th position. It's us.
Yeah.
Look, I do need to. I know you've just joined, Lubo, but I do need to read these super chats and kind of go. So, guys, brace yourself. There are 19 of these bad boys. Are we ready? This takes a lot of doing. Ready? Steady. Thank you very much to Gary Morton Barley out there in Ireland, Dublin. Big up to you, my man, who has said, now we have a real future ahead of us. Rejoice. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate all of your kind WhatsApp messages as well. Big up to you and to your good lady. Big up to Ian JD, who's a channel member, who has said Levy has to get this next appointment right. He absolutely needs to get this next appointment right. Listen, Glasner, Xavi, Frank, a coach. Get me a coach. Big up to you, Ian JD. Appreciate you. Ryan, big up. Very generous £10 super chat here saying, big up, Sava. I'm throwing a party tonight. I'm over the moon. Best news I've heard all year. I'm happy now. Can we bring in men as footballers? Hope so. I hope so. Are you as happy as me, Sava? Much love. Listen, I am happy. I'm more relieved than anything. And by the way, we will be live for a lot of time tomorrow to digest a lot of this. So don't worry for anyone that wants to see more of this little Greek face. Big up to you, Ryan. Thank you very much. Matty K. Hope your exam went well this morning. Your old English GCSE. Hope you didn't do a will from the in-betweeners and shit your pants, but hope you enjoyed it. I said, hashtag it's Sava's fault. Big up to you, Matty. Seriously, though, I'm happy. And Matty, I'm not going to read out the WhatsApp you just sent me. I'm not going to embarrass you online. I'm not going to read out the WhatsApp you just sent me. But thank you for the super chat. Big up to Andrew Huggett, who has said, get Lubo in the dugout. Can't go wrong. Andrew, we would get Lubo in the dugout, but seeing as he's one of the world's most famous retired referees, he's used to having the whistle in the middle of the pitch. Big up to you, Andrew. That's very generous. Jordan, with a £20 super chat. Very, very generous indeed, my man. Has said, as someone who wanted Ange out, this news is more relief than anything. Agreed. I wish Ange all the best. He has delivered a European trophy at Tottenham. Hopefully we get some quality players in to help the new manager. Big up to you. That is very, very generous, Jordan. You've always been very generous to me. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that, my man. Glenn, this is my stat guy. Glenn is my stat guy. Big up to you, Glenn. Glenn, you're now out of a job until Frank starts doing poorly, I'm afraid. So, unfortunately, you have also been sacked today. But big up for your super sticker, and I'll WhatsApp you a bit later, mate. Thank you very much, Glenn. Big up to Simon Bergen with the super sticker. Very generous, Simon. Thank you. Amari W, very generous from you as well. Really appreciate that. Lee Richards, thank you, has said absolutely the right decision. Beating championship quality sides in Bodo and the worst Man United for 50 years can't make up for a record number of league losses, even though Chris Cowling's just been on Sky Sports telling everyone he's really disappointed. Big up to you, Lee Richards. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Gary Morton Barley's come back in again and said D-Day commemorations and Tottenham celebrations. Listen, for me, it's not about celebrating. For me, this is about Now I want to see what we do. Yeah, Ange isn't the manager. We can all stop this in, out, shake it all about, and let's get a coach in, someone who wants to get on the training ground and actually coach these young players. Big up to Robson Frank. Big up, Rob. He has said, my chairman's showing some ambition and actually acting like a big club. Levy in. And Rob, just to let you into a little secret, that's exactly what Lubo messaged me privately just now. He said, Levy in, all is forgiven for the 24 years. So big up to you, Rob. And Levy, Lubo did not say that, by the way. Lubo did not say that at all. And look how he's frozen. He's frozen on that picture. Big up to you. Thank you, Rob. Karate FC, with a very generous super chat as well, said, short-term memory. I think some of the fans love the manager more than the club. Bang on. How can anyone be okay with 17th and 22 defeats? The standards need to be better. Karate, very generous from you as always, my man. Thank you very much. I think we're nearly, oh no, we've got about 8 left. Big up to you, Karate. Big up to Soulboy, another very generous £10 donation. Don't worry, mate. I'll make up the extra penny. Don't you worry. I'll put my own penny in to make that a tenner. Great news. We got our Spurs back. Well, I'm not going to go as far as talking about our Spurs back because I don't know what that means. But what I do know is that we don't have to be wide open cannon fodder every week in the Premier League. Big up to you, Soulboy. That's very generous. Mark Taylor with a £5 super chat. Thank you very much. I said, remember what Ange fans said. Just back the manager. That now means the new manager. Bang on, Mark. And thank you for all your support throughout this season. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate you. Jordan has come back in again, very generous, and said Bayern Munich took company who had Burnley relegated, yet Spurs fans are dismissing Thomas Frank, who does brilliant with Brentford. It's utter madness. This is the greatest message I've seen all season. Absolutely, Jordan. Absolutely. And it didn't stop top players signing for Bayern Munich. Big up to you, Jordan. Thank you very much. Completely agree with you, my man. Free to go. Nicholas Walker has said, so if we finish 6th and win the FA Cup, it's all good. I mean, if we finish 6th and win the FA Cup, that's an immeasurable improvement from this year. Yes. But I'm not silly enough, Nicholas, to think we're going to win a trophy every single season. And this is where Spurs fans need to be very, very careful. But thank you very much for your super chat. This is the greatest super chat ever, just because it's £3.33. I love that. All the frees. Big up to you, Finn McMullen. Lovely dog in the picture as well. Said, any punts on De Zerbi? He has Champions League experience as well. Hang on. Let me just double check if De Zerbi was on the list. De Zerbi is, you can get De Zerbi as low as 16 to 1 and as high as 14 to 1. I've got 33s and 16, but yeah, he's there. Big up to you, Finn. And last from Mix Mitchell, who said fully deserved sacking. Bless up Sava and the panel. Bless up to you as well, Mix Mitchell. Much love. That was a very, very, very long set of super chats. Thank you very much. And for anyone that hasn't subscribed, please do. We are flying at the moment. We are now over 18.3K. Bless you to the wife. We are heading towards the 19,000. Please subscribe to the Hotspur Hood and Perchy as well. Guys, has anyone got anything they'd like to say before I go and iron a shirt?
God, that felt more like therapy. That was a session. Now as a release. Now we can all relax now for the summer.
Dan, anything?
Yeah. It's where do we go now? I mean, I've got a show for 8 o'clock, and I'd made it not to talk about Ange, so we could look at other things, and then this happened. So I'll just have to change that around a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry, the dog's on one. Lubo, anything you'd like to say? Lubo?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Anything you'd like to say?
It's a good week. It's a good week. It's a good week. That's all. It's been a good week.
It's a good week. It's a good
Three
week.
down, one to go.
Listen, everybody, thank you very much. I am sending you all over to Sean Butler at Spurs Talk Show. So there's 1,000 of you in here. I'm sending you over to Sean Butler. Before we do, Halimi701 has come in and said, you're a helmet sever. I'm joking. Laugh out loud. That's all right. I've been called a helmet once today. You might as well all call me a helmet now. Cue everyone in the chat. Put in the word helmet. That would be quite funny, wouldn't it? Big up to you, Halimi. Thank you very much. I'm sending you all over to Spurs Talk Show. Please type in Sava Raid. Much love, Lubo. Much love, Dan. Much love, Perchy. Daniel Levy has done the right thing for me. And now we move forward and we see who the next manager is. Take care, everyone. Much love. Even to all you haters. I love you more than you love me. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.